Ladies and gentlemen, Kocosports.com proudly presents Wrestle AM. That's right, it's half wrestling show, half morning show, pretty much all BS. Well, you got Boom Boom here shaking the room live from the RVA talking about Richmond, Virginia, and it's time to do our little belated review of NXT, coming to you live, of course, from the tapings from Full Sail University down in sunny South Florida. Taking a look at this, and the question we always ask at the beginning of every show that we ever review. Yeah, that makes sense, like in my head, but not out loud. We ask you every time, win, loss, or tie. So down here in the comments section, what did you think about this week's NXT? Was it a win? Was it a loss? Or was it a tie? Me personally, I'm going to go ahead and give this show a weak tie. Now, normally I like NXT, and this is still no exception. I did like the show. I just don't think it was that great of a show. And I'll explain to you a little bit, and just as I take two, and I'll explain to you as I review the show. Sorry, I'm tongue-tied this morning here. But anyway, the first thing we do, we start out with a match. I know, imagine that, WWE. You start out a show with a match instead of 20 minutes of people out there talking, saying nothing. I know, it's crazy. You know, it's like people want to watch professional wrestling on a professional wrestling show. Anyway, they brought out Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy to take on the Lucha Dragons. Now, what made this a little interesting is now some people on the internet are saying that Sin Cara and Kalisto are kind of being presented as the heels now. I disagree with that. Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy, you know, coming out there doing their usual shtick, which I absolutely love. And they called them, they're not the Lucha Dragons, they're more like the Geico Lizards, and, you know, they're going to save you 15% on a beatdown. And, of course, they bring out the Lucha Dragons. Now, here's the thing. I don't think the Lucha Dragons are being portrayed as the heels. They were, you know, the commentary team didn't say anything about changing attitude. The Lucha Dragons, they didn't change up their style any. I think why they're getting booed is because the fans know that they're leaving. That they're leaving Raw. They're just kind of treading water right now until they head to Raw, which, you know, and I'm basing this off of absolutely nothing. I believe the Lucha Dragons are going to show up on Raw after WrestleMania. Of course, I base that off nothing, so take it for what it's worth. Now, Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy are kind of put into a unique position. They're now being presented as a tag team because, frankly, it's only them and the Vaudevillains left to challenge Blake and Murphy, and consider we've already seen the Vaudevillains you know, challenge Blake and Murphy unsuccessfully. There was the loss against them. I think it's time for Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy to step up. Interested to see where this is going. This is only a Band-Aid, in my opinion. Why am I saying this is a Band-Aid? Because if Blake and Murphy beat Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy, then you're going to have to pull up somebody else. You're going to, I mean, I was saying, well, what about Ty Dillinger and Jason Jordan? Oh, they broke up. Well, what about, I think it was Dawkins and Sawyer? I don't think they're ready, at least not for, I mean, yeah, they could probably be there to, you know, they already wrestled a match against the tag team champions and lost. So, I mean, what do? The only thing I can think of that I can do until I can import another tag team or take my trainees and put together a tag team, I can have Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy either win in a non-title match, which I know Dave Kocosports would fucking hate. In fact, just me mentioning that causes him to scream all the way from Tokyo, Japan. Or have the champions, Blake and Murphy, get disqualified, something to drag out this feud, because if they straight up beat them, I mean, I feel like Blake and Murphy have got nowhere to go. But anyway, back to the match itself. This was about a 6-minute match, which I think is decent here. The Lucha Dragons look great. Good high flying from them. I like the one-arm power bomb from Sin Cara. Then Kalisto comes off the top. I like the kind of Cassidy and Enzo Amore, even though that they're being presented to the heels. I mean, they're not afraid to kind of go out there and, you know, bend the rules a little bit. You know, Cassidy took it down to Amore, dragged him back to his corner, then tagged himself in, then went in there and he did a press slam. He press slammed Enzo Amore onto Kalisto. Actually, he hit him with the East River Crossing, which is a sidelock slam, then threw his partner Enzo Amore onto top of Kalisto for the win. So I think it was a decent opening match. All right, next here we had a little video package of Alex Riley, talking about showing him as a wrestler, trying to remind people that, he's not just a member of the commentary team. He did debut in WWE as a wrestler. He's been in the ring. He's tied up with The Miz. So he's not incompetent. So, which I think is great. It kind of like with new fans or people who may not be familiar with Alex Riley or people who may have just kind of glossed over his career. I think that was a good placement there to remind fans that Alex Riley is a professional wrestler, and and therefore he poses some sort of threat to Kevin Owens. Next, they brought out the returning Alexa Bliss to take on Carmella. To me, this match, it was okay, but here's the funny thing. These girls, let me tell you something, this match was not great by any standards, and they're like, well, boom, boom, why are you kind of I'm cutting these these gals slack because this is WWE's developmental league. These girls they straight up say that they're not ready, that they still got a ways to go, and they know it, but even with that said, they went in there and gave over 5 minutes, which is more than what the so-called competent divas up on the main roster on Raw are doing. This is funny. You got these girls who are ready, who are ready for the big time, quote unquote. They're on Total Divas, and they're wrestling like 30 seconds to 3 minutes. And then you take two girls here who supposedly aren't ready, and you're giving them more than 5. Call me crazy here, but if you're going to do something short, why not take the girls who aren't ready and have them do like the 30-second roll-up, and you take the girls who are ready and let them wrestle longer? But here's what I like about this. These two, they know they've got a lot to go, and they went out there, and I think it was a pretty decent match. We're not talking Steamboat Flair here, but dude, we're talking like it was a good match. It was a competent match. They have got a ton of work they both need to put in, but they're putting it in. That's why they're there. Alexa Bliss, man, I gotta say, man, she looked a little bit better tonight. Carmella, she's okay, but they're gonna get there. What I like about this is they brought back Bliss. She's recovering from a broken nose. She looked just a little bit different out there. She looked like she's been working in the gym ever since she's been out, and I kind of like that they're going to kind of push her, at least in my opinion now, from looking at this match, that they're going to start pushing Alexa Bliss as the next challenger towards Sasha Banks. Now, that's not to say that she's going to win, but I think that's a smart move because, frankly, we've been burned out. It's been Charlotte, Sasha, Becky, and Bayley for like the past 4 months, 4 or 5 months. It's been a while. It's been I think even the last paper, even before that, before the 4-way, it was still down to Charlotte and Bayley, and then that mixed up Sasha in there. I mean, it's been overkill. So I like this. You're not necessarily cooling off the other girls. You're just letting the audience recover so they don't get sick of them, because audiences tend to do that. And I wish Raw would realize that if you keep shoving somebody in our face, eventually we're going to burn out on them. Well, they're going to put these girls on the back burner for right now. I mean, they're still going to wrestle matches. They're going to have some fun. They're going to put on some good matches, but now we have a new challenger, someone new to go up, challenge Sasha Banks, and why not Alexa Bliss? She's putting in the time rewarder with a little bit of a spot there. And let me also say something about her character. This is pop culture and media done right. What is Alexa Bliss's character? It's Princess Elsa from Frozen. That's what it is. I mean, she comes out with the blue highlights in the hair. She wears the frilly little dress. She blows glitter. She's very kid-friendly. And this is usually wrestling. In some aspects, it's either stuff that we don't know about, or it's just been rehashed, stuff that's old, like, Sting's Crow gimmick, which is, almost 20 years. Yeah, you're right, about 20 years, past its cool point. well, here's something new, something fresh. I mean, in fact, Frozen just announced they're doing a sequel, so it still makes it timely. It still makes it relevant. And this is, and is she going to stay like that forever? Is her gimmick going to stay like that forever? Probably not. But I think this is proper use of pop culture into professional wrestling that works. So props to WWE. But anyway, on to the match. Decent presentation there. She did this a move called the Sparkle Splash. Basically, looked like a cartwheel off the top rope onto Carmella for the win. So best of luck to her. Next, we went back to Alex Riley. He was talking, he cut a pretty good promo. He was saying he felt like a hungry animal locked in a cage for 2 years while everyone around him is allowed to eat, but he's not. And he's, they're opening the door and he's going to go out there and he's going to kick CJ Parker's ass. And he's trying to build his way up to Kevin Owens. And I was like, okay, that's a pretty decent promo. To me, it was a little over the top for my taste. It was a little over the top, but I think it worked, and I would rather go, okay, that guy was trying too hard, maybe tone it down a little bit, than to, oh my God, that was not believable. So, Riley's ready. I mean, Riley is fired up. He's got a lot of passion, and they're going to, apparently WWE or NXT more specifically is going to put that to use, so, hey, why not roll with it? And speaking of that, Alex Riley comes out to wrestle CJ Parker. This was an okay match. CJ Parker, man, unfortunately he got good at jobbing, so that's what he's doing. He's the guy that, if CJ Parker ain't job to you, you ain't nobody. That's how that works in NXT. I think Riley looked particularly well for someone who has not wrestled in a couple of years. He's obviously going to have to shake off some ring rust. He won with a blockbuster. We're going old school, man. We're going Buff Bagwell there. The blockbuster off the top rope. Got the win. Was celebrating. Then Kevin Owens came out on the ramp, said, hey, you look great, but you're the dumbest man in NXT, and if the lame tattoo on your back doesn't prove it, you trying to fight me I'm gonna end your in-ring career, and then I'm gonna crush Finn Balor. And I think that was really set up nicely. You see that Riley can wrestle. Kevin Owens comes out, says, hey, you want to wrestle me? That's fine. It's your funeral, and I'm going to squash you like a grape, and then I'm going to go off and beat Finn Balor. I like that. It just kind of gives some relevance there. Only thing I may not like about this is the NXT spoiled this match during the show because they were doing like vignettes talking about their wrestling at the Arnold Festival or whatever the fuck it's called in 2015. It's in Ohio. They were promoting Ohio's own Alexa Bliss, so maybe that's why she got the win. But they actually showed Owens talking smack to Riley before it even happened on the show. So to me that kind of spoiled it. Okay, he's gonna win. Okay, Kevin Owens is gonna go out there and challenge him. Whereas if they would have saved it for later on in the show, I think it would have had a bigger the whole segment would have had a bigger impact because one, we don't know who wins, but you're like, okay, but yeah, he was going to win. All right, but I didn't know that Owens was going to come out and say he's going to end his career. I was like, well, that would have had a bigger impact had I known that was not coming. So I think it worked. It was a decent. It wasn't perfect, but I think it was passable. Next, we go on to our main event: Hideo Itami versus Tyler Breeze in Part 47 of their feud. I'm just kidding. What can I say about this match that hasn't already been said? I mean, these guys have tied it up, I think, 3-4 times, and Hideo Itami has got the best of those feuds, but Breeze refuses to let this feud die. He's constantly sneak attacking Hideo Itami. Let's see, kicked him. He's used the selfie stick. But these two tied it up one more time. Another fine-looking match, but the only difference this time is Tyler Breeze hits the beauty shot after throwing Hideo Itami to the turnbuckle, gets the win. About a 9-minute match there. Not bad. Hideo Itami is on fire. People are chanting his name. They're doing that little finger point raise with him. Breeze, he needed a big win. He really did. He was going to go the way of C.J. Parker. If he keeps racking up losses, how are you going to bring this guy up to WWE if he doesn't really? Well, come to think of it, apparently records don't fucking matter, and what you do on NXT doesn't really matter on the main roster. I mean, he'll just ask Bo Dallas, Paige, Emma, the Ascension. Ask them, because apparently all the good shit that they did in NXT don't amount to jack over on Raw. You'll get buried anyway. So he got the win. These two, I think they're about. What are these two? I think Breeze is now 1-3 against a Tommy now. That's an exaggeration. I don't really know, for example, but overall, I think it was an okay show. The crowd, for the most part, was dead. Now, if this is part of the TV tapings, I can understand that, because this would have been hour 4. And there's only, even if it's good wrestling or mediocre wrestling or bad wrestling, there's only so much wrestling the crowd can take before it just, it's like, okay, I'm burned out, I need to take a break. I don't know how NXT does it. I don't know if they do like a show, take like an intermission, do another show, take an intermission, do another show, take an intermission, or do they just throw them all out there and they insert in all the backstage stuff? I don't know exactly how NXT works. I'm anxious to find out, but I don't know exactly how they do this. But I think the crowd had been there for a while. They were starting to cool off, so I don't know. If it was a live crowd, I would definitely shit on it. But since I know that this is taped and they only do it one time per month, I'm interested to see where this goes from here. But if you're a huge fan of NXT, yeah, definitely worth checking out. If you're trying to get someone to NXT or you're looking to get into NXT, this would definitely not be the show to start with. I think it was passable, but like I said, it ultimately went out to a tie. It was just the crowd was kind of dead for it. Some of the matches were very short and needed a little bit of work, but that's what they're there for. So, all in all, I give it a weak tie. What keeps it from being a loss is the passion shown by Alex Riley in the main event with Hideo Itami and Tyler Breeze. Kept the whole show above water. So, all in all, I enjoyed it. All right, let's get to some questions here. Let's see. LK Wrestling Review says, Ty, for the usual NXT standard, it wasn't good between NXT and Lucha this week. Lucha won the war. This is the war I want to see. This is the Wednesday night war. NXT versus Lucha Underground. I mean, why not? I mean, they're both about the same length. They've got some really good talent, good stars, good promos, good production values. This is the war I want to see. Maybe this will be the new war. Fabrice Nicholas Tranche, I'm not sure. I just butchered that fucking name. He liked us on Facebook. Thank you very much. Oh, and LK Wrestling Reviews has also liked and tweeted the show. Much love. Rico from Facebook. Do you agree with Coco about NXT doing and to make sure Mania is embarrassed and bad? You know what? I don't think NXT is having to try to make Mania look bad. I mean, they have good. Here's the thing: these guys are supposedly not ready, but these guys have good opponents. They have time to go out there and ply their trade, and they have great matches. I mean, this is basic, elementary stuff, and they're doing it well. I mean, it's like a boxer. He's not all flashy, but he knows how to hit that jab. He doesn't know much about the uppercuts. He can't hit the haymakers. He's not going to do a lot of clinching. He's just gonna go in there. He can do that jab, and it's not pretty, it's not fancy, but it gets the job done. Same thing with NXT. These guys are doing just basic storytelling, basic matches, but they do it well. Whereas Raw, they think about it too much. They push the wrong people. They shove people down our throats. They're getting a backlash from the fans. Whereas with NXT, it's more of a merit-based system. Everybody's going to get a shot, but if you connect most, you get more time out there. Absolutely love it. So I don't think they really have to try now. I think what Raw or what the main roster has to do is they have to try to make these guys look bad, which they've done. You take people like, think about it, Big E. Big E was NXT champion, had a lot of charisma. was pretty good in the ring, had some great matches while he was there. Comes up, he's going to be Dolph Ziggler's, muscle, his bodyguard, so they make him quiet. Okay, I can understand that, the big, quiet, muscular guy. That's been done before. And they completely dropped the ball with him. Yeah, they gave him an Intercontinental title run, but he's become an afterthought now, and he's pretty much been relegated to the New Day. Bo Dallas, a long reigning champion there at NXT. I mean, he was like, as Dave put it, John Cena done right. He was a bad guy that thought he was a good guy. This, kind of insincere motivational speaker. Went out and had some great matches, drew a lot of heat with the crowd. They bring him out there. Apparently, Vince McMahon said, "I don't get it," and just said, "Okay, well, since I don't get it, therefore, well, that's all." The Ascension, one of the most dominant tag teams, and people would say, "Well, these guys were all that good." Yeah, they may have not been that good, but you know what? They had opponents, and they worked with each other, and they convinced us that they were at least a competent goddamn tag team. They didn't have fucking old motherfuckers go out there, "Oh, you guys are stupid. You guys look dumb. What the hell's up with that fucking face paint?" And they do this right out the gate. I mean, you can make fun of them. I mean, but once you get some credibility under their belt, I mean, there's nothing wrong with talking smack. It's just like, here's like this tag team you're bringing up from NXT. They're supposed to be, you're promoting them, supposed to be like these old school, like Demolition, Legion of Doom. We come out there, we beat you up, we beat you and we leave. Instead, well, these guys haven't beaten anybody. Fuck you. So I think that's the glaring contrast between Raw and NXT. Is NXT, they'll take you no matter who you are. They'll find out what your strengths are, play it towards it. They'll put you with opponents, and you work with each other for a common goal, which is to put on a good match. Where on Raw, it's all about who we think should be on top, who we're going to push on top, and you're just going to have to like it no matter what. And if it costs, if we have some bad matches, then just too bad. You're a fucking stupid mark. You're a greedy fucking fan who wants everything. Fuck you. That's the way I see it. All right. Wow, did I go off on that one? By the way, speaking of Lucha Underground, I mentioned this earlier. We're going to be doing a review probably within the next 24 to 48 hours. About the next 24 to 48 hours, and we're going to have an Impact review up this weekend because we've got our crack, staff here at Kocosports.com. All the people that we employ here. Dozens and dozens of people. We'll have one of our minions go on here and crank out some reviews. Let's see. Rob, he says, loss, huge fucking loss. What kind of moron spoils their main event 5 minutes into the show? Yeah, that's something I criticize too. So I don't know if I would give it a huge fucking loss. I mean, that's why I gave it a weak tie. I mean, they spoiled something in their own show. I think that was just something as somebody cut the promo, edited it into the broadcast and just didn't think about where they put it. I think that was just an oversight by somebody's by somebody's part. That's an editing mistake. You could put that in. You just needed to put it in later in the show, or move that particular event, like move the Alex Riley CJ Parker up in the show and move that commercial down. So I think that was just an oversight and just very poor on somebody else's. They just weren't thinking, and that was the problem. Ewok from Indoor, he says, a strong tie for me. Nothing really happened. More storyline progression, but the only matches that I wasn't happy about were the Bliss versus Carmella and Riley versus Parker. Bliss and Riley has only just returned after absence. Ring rust for both. I agree. I absolutely agree there, Ewok. But the reason I cut them slack, if this was Raw, I would fucking rip them for it. If this was TNA, I'd rip them for it. If this was Ring of Honor, I'd rip them for it. If this was Impact, I would totally rip them for it. But this is NXT, and what makes them so goddamn special? Some of you are saying, well, dude, this is the developmental league. I mean, this is what they're there for. They straight up say these people aren't ready for prime time. These people aren't ready. This is why they're there for. So that's why I cut them just a little bit more slack. So what perfect place to shake off ring rust than NXT? What better place to get your feet back up under you than NXT? And even looking at it, I mean, even with ring rust, those matches weren't that bad. I'm not, again, they weren't like amazing. We're not talking, Sting versus Ric Flair. We're not talking that. I mean, but it was a passable match. You know, and plus we saw more out of these guys than what we do normally from any other person on the main roster. You know, of that caliber. I'm saying people on the lower part of the mid card. I'm talking like curtain jerkers. I mean, you're not going to see those kind of matches there on the early part of Raw or early part of SmackDown or hell, even main event for that matter. So, you know, I think it was good for what it was. Mr. Jason 916, he says NXT going for Samoa Joe, and when the Ring of Honor contract ends, and this month and next month's the Briscoe brothers, ACH, Adam Cole. What do you think? Okay. I guess what he's saying is you know, what do I think about WWE going after some of these Ring of Honor talents as soon as their contracts expires? Well, it's no secret that Samoa Joe and NXT are in negotiations. I'm thinking they should finish up something around April. I think Samoa Joe's doing the right thing. You know, he left Impact. He's going back home to Ring of Honor. He's going to have some good matches there. And, you know, let's just say, you know, contract negotiations fall through. They can't come to an agreement. Ring of Honor is not a bad place to land. In fact, you know, he could wrestle there, and probably with some help of AJ Styles. Why not send him over to New Japan? So I think that's good, but I think they will ultimately come to some sort of agreement. I can only hope they do what they did with Punk, and they at least like the name Samoa Joe, rather than having to change his name to like Joe Samoa or not Caribbean, Pacific Islander Joseph. I'm coming up with bad names here. Don't minus like 1,000 points for me for coming up with such a fucking lame name. Also, I read on the dirt sheets just as well as you did. I think it should be up on Kocosports.com. Thanks to Rob, who's now breathed new life into our news section. That WWE is waiting on a Ring of Honor talents, the Briscoes, waiting on their contracts to expire. You know, to be honest, I never thought for the life of me that WWE would ever hire the Briscoes. You know, not even like appearance-wise, but I think it's because of Jay's tweet about homosexuality. What he had tweeted was that, you know, if you try to teach my kid that this is acceptable, that this is right, I'll fucking kill you. Don't mess with my kids. And, of course, that led to a huge fallout because Kerry Silkin's openly gay. And, or was it Joe Koff? I think it was Kerry. I think it's Kerry Silkin. Minus like 1,000 points for me for not fucking knowing that off the top of my head. So he had to wind up. I mean, he took some shit for it. He wound up donating like all the money he would have made from like 2 shows to like this like gay advocacy group. And plus WWE, you know, they're big and you know, be a star, and you know they're participating with the No Hate and all these other organizations that that are straight up advocate for marriage equality. And to me, I'm thinking that's suicide, you know, because even if Jay keeps his mouth shut, I mean, it's still going to be there. And somebody who wants to rip on WWE can go, well, they've hired these 2 brothers, well, one of which made anti-homophobic tweets, which led to a big fallout, you know, and I just figured that would be publicity that they wouldn't want because they're a publicly traded company and they want to keep as much negative publicity out, especially with CM Punk right now, and not only CM Punk, but the Bill DeMott thing as well. I don't know what is, but I don't know. Maybe they're hoping the media will kind of gloss over that or just not find it. Period. As far as other people, ACH, I don't know if they would want ACH because I think they would have a hard time promoting ACH because, as we've said on here before, WWE doesn't know how to promote black athletes. They don't know how to write for them. They don't know how to promote them. They just don't know. And I don't know if ACH would want to get involved in that crap because, you know, we already know how this story's going to end. Take a look at Kofi Kingston. That's exactly how he's going to fucking wind up. Yeah, or Shelton Benjamin. Yeah, I guarantee. Okay, if they bring in ACH, he'll be treated like Shelton Benjamin. Yeah, he'll get a big push at first. Maybe they'll slap him with a tag team partner who might also happen to be black. I'm thinking they'll probably put him with R-Truth because, you know, again, WWE's fucking racist, and they're like, hey, these 2 guys are black. Let's put them together. They'd be a good tag team. They'd probably put them together with R-Truth. They might get a tag team title run. He might get them. a run or a shot at the U.S. title, but that's about as far as it would go. And then now he would be like Kofi Kingston in some kind of lame fucking New Day gimmick until his contract expired. That's exactly what would happen. Adam Cole, I know that's somebody that's definitely on WWE's radar. I think he would be a great match. I think they would probably give him something like a push, like like something like around the lines of Brian Kendrick. I don't think he would go very far. He would probably be wrestling main event. And people are like, why are you being so negative, Boom Boom? Well, dude, look at the fucking reality. I mean, unless you're dun 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 or believe that, I mean, really, what are they going to do? I mean, really, what is WWE going to do? I mean, Adam Cole, I think they're going to think he's undersized. I don't know why the fuck they're going to sign him if they think that, but fuck it, they've done it. They'll do it anyway. I think they're doing it really just to hurt these other promotions. But they'll bring in Adam Cole, and I think Adam Cole would do well on NXT, as would ACH and as would the Briscoes. They would all do absolutely amazing on the promotion. But when they got to the main roster, that's when I would be scared. So that's what I think about them. Let's see. In fact, let's see. Mr. Jason asked another question. I think it will be awesome when NXT does 2 shows in the old ECW arena on May 15th and 16th. Yeah, I think it'll be fitting. I think it'll be quite poetic. I don't think that's a TV taping or a live event. I think that's just a house show. I'm hoping to go to a fucking NXT live event. I don't care if it's taped or not. I just want to get out there and see it. If they're going to start promoting NXT, I hope they sell out every fucking bingo hall, armory, high school gym, VFW, from Maine to California. I really hope they do. I really want to see them be successful. I want people to go, well, necessarily WWE doesn't suck. We just think what you're giving us sucks. Here's your product. These are your people, your trainers, and we're going out to see this event because we want to see good wrestling. And and everybody's going to get a chance here, and we want to see these guys shine. So that's the message I hope it sends: is support the things that you do like, but back away from the other stuff you don't. Now, me, as much as I love NXT, I still canceled my subscription to the WWE Network, and in fact, I got emails about it all this week about, oh, your subscription's running out. Oh, your subscription's about to be canceled tomorrow. Oh, your subscription's run out. Oh, please come back to us. And that's why I canceled it. I can't stand what they're doing on the main roster. And you know what? Look at the main roster. I like Seth Rollins. I like Dean Ambrose. I like Daniel Bryan. I like Dolph Ziggler. I like Bad News Barrett. I like Cesaro. I like Tyson Kidd, but I don't like the fucking company. And I'm not going to give Vince McMahon my $10 fucking every month and me be fucking pissed off. I mean, to me that doesn't make any sense. Why? And unfortunately, since NXT is under that banner there, it's like, you know what? I'm not going to subscribe to your network till you turn things around. And just sorry, but one show is not going to do it for me. And you know what? You're going to go off. You're going to make millions of dollars with WrestleMania. You're going to make millions of dollars. I'm not going to delude myself. People are going to watch it because it's WrestleMania. It's like the Super Bowl. I mean, just because you don't have a dog in the fight doesn't mean you don't watch it. Dave, since you're a Buccaneers fan, the Super Bowl, you never have a team in it except for once. Sorry, low blow. But all right, but is there any more questions here? I'm about to wrap this bad boy up, so I'll stall for time until I find any more questions. And if it doesn't, if we don't answer your questions, just keep them here. We'll try to answer them in the Stump the Idiot. So in the meantime, I'd like to tell everybody to join us at Kocosports.com. That's KOCOsports.com. It's your home for all combat sports. That includes boxing, mixed martial arts, pro wrestling, amateur wrestling, sumo wrestling, taekwondo, kickboxing, judo. If you can get your nose broke doing it, we got you covered there on the site. Rob is contributing to our new blogs, and he's even got our news and gossip site up and running. So check it out. Hey, definitely mad props out to Rob. He got favorited by the Young Bucks. What tweet did he send? Well, he needs to post it on the site, and you can watch it. It's he put something very insightful, sent it towards the Young Bucks, and they thought it was just too sweet. Too sweet. So check that out there. We've even got our video on demand section. So if you happen to miss Raw and you're a masochist and you want to suffer through 3 hours of your life, you can watch it there. If you want to check out this, episode of NXT, I think we should have that up shortly. We've got a lot of good stuff there, and it's all absolutely 100% free at Kocosports.com. It's where the world goes to kick ass. Well, no more questions here, so I guess that's going to do it for us. So, for Dave Kokotis and Rob Sackett, this is Boom Boom signing off saying, I am over.